Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker. Well, I'm not sure if this is fear mongering or not, but I've been seeing a lot about Charles Kirk up and down my timeline. And people are saying that his followers are looking at everyone's posts to see who had something negative to say, and they're reporting them to their jobs, and they're going to ensure and make sure that people actually lose their jobs based on their opinion. I find it strange since he was shot for his opinion that his followers would turn around and try to put other people down and get them fired for their opinion. What happened to freedom of speech? Guys, I know that we all, particularly those of us who are here in America, we have that law. And I know that to a certain extent it's loosely applied, meaning I know that for those of us who have a job, right, you can't get on social media or regular media for that matter and, let's say, spill your job secrets. And most jobs don't want you to say anything negative on any social media or media platform. It's really best, if there is an issue, for you to go to your human resources department, even though, let's face it, let's be honest, sometimes they're not always the most helpful, or go to your manager or CEO or someone on the job and try and fix it there first, before thinking about taking it to the media. Or better yet, just look for another job. So I know that there's that. I also know that, like in my case, they don't really like it when you talk about another company. And the reason is because that other company could be a potential client. So when on social media, when on regular media or wherever, you got to be careful what you say, because what you say can have consequences, and those consequences can lead to you being fired from the job. That's in my contract, and that's also in many other people's contract. And now and again, sometimes if you're working with a controversial client, or in a controversial case, for example, you have to be careful what you say, especially during those particular times. As a matter of fact, many of the different firms that I've worked for, they've always passed me some sort of notice saying that we don't want you to discuss. And this was even before, one particular company I worked at was before social media was even a thing. Before social media was social media. Before social media, period. They had assigned certain paperwork to indicate that they didn't even want us talking about certain things even on the street. So I understand that. However, in this case, this is an individual who I didn't know anything about until his assassination. And I just think that it's very, very strange that this is something that is going on. And I'm understanding that there was a woman, a nurse, who put up something negative. She didn't even have a YouTube channel. She wasn't doing reels on Instagram or anything like that. She was just posting. And I understand that she recently lost her job. I think that that's very unfortunate. I think that we all are allowed to have an opinion, and that we should share it, especially when it comes on to individuals. Maybe I need to look up more into him, but I didn't see where he was a client. Definitely not a client of my company that I work for, or the companies that I own. So it's just really sad. But I want to say this. This is one of the main reasons why I invest. And this is one of the main reasons why I think everybody should invest. Because since we are living in a time such as this, where something like this can happen, and already has happened to one individual that many of us are aware of, and God knows how many other individuals have also suffered from this that did not make it publicly known. This is why you should invest. Because you see, when you invest, number one, you would have money or a cushion to fall back on. See, some of you, instead of investing, you have 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, right? And I'm not knocking that. I'm not against that. However, if you had an investment, whatever you say is not going to stop your investment from paying you out. Whether you invest in the stock market or in the real estate market, whatever your opinion is not going to stop people. It's not going to stop you from making the money that you need to have, or that you want to have. It won't at all. There's nothing to say, even though, yes, when you're dealing with real estate, you are dealing with people, right? For the most part. But let's take private lending, for example. I loan my money to somebody. They see me post something on social media they don't like. They can't turn around and say, we're not going to pay her back because we don't like her opinion. If they do that, I can foreclose on that property that they're trying to flip. And 9 times out of 10, that property is worth more than the money that I gave them to go and fix it up. Okay? When it comes to mortgage note investing, where I'm buying directly from a mortgage broker or a bank, well, here's the thing. Those homeowners who pay me a monthly, their mortgage on a monthly basis, if they say, you know what, we don't agree with your opinion on Charlie Kirk, so we're not going to pay you, even though that's hard to happen, because honestly, I have that under my business name, and I did not set up any business pages on Facebook for it, for either one of them, because I want to remain anonymous. Okay. But let's say they somehow figured out who I was and was able to, piece together and say, okay, you're the one that we're paying our mortgage to. We're not going to do that anymore. Again, I can foreclose on their property, and I can take their property. Tax liens, same thing. The money and the interest is given to you from the government. The government is not going to say, okay, we're not going to pay you because you had a negative comment or you said something about anybody. That's not how that works. I can go on and go straight down the list of every single investment that there is. When you invest your money, you will get, if whatever interest was gained on that money from your investment, and no opinion of yours is going to stop you from getting that. That's just how that works. And I just want to encourage more of you. Look at this situation. Look at also at the fact that, honestly, I do believe that all of those black women who lost their jobs before this incident happened, I believe they lost it based on their opinion, based on the fact that the vast majority probably didn't vote for Trump. The vast majority of them probably voted for Kamala. And I believe they lost their job because of that. But see, when you just rely on one income, when you just rely on having a job, this is how they can take advantage of you. But when you have an investment, when you invest your money, again, whether it's the stock market or the real estate market, they can't really touch you. You're always going to have that money to fall back on. You're always going to have something, and I believe in not just having one investment, just like I don't, believe in one income stream. I believe that you should have multiple investments. I believe you should do both stocks and real estate. And there's too many different avenues as far as how you can go about investing in the stock market and investing in real estate. Because in the stock market, you have what? You have ETFs, you have mutual funds, you have derivatives, you have options, you have futures, right? And I can go on in there. In real estate, what do you have? You can invest in houses, you can invest in apartment buildings, laundromats. You can buy a tax lien, you can buy a mortgage note, you can be a private lender. And I can go on because there's at least 36 strategies in that area alone. Parking lots, assisted living facilities. You buy one assisted living facility and you don't even, that's like $500,000 a year right there on a 7-bedroom house. So no, this whole relying on a job and only a job, it's, I'm telling you, save yourself, invest, and learn to invest in something. Figure out where your personality fits in, and then go from there and do it as fast as possible. And in this climate, honestly, the way America is heading, it might behoove you to look at international, meaning look at investing in foreign companies, overseas companies. Look at investing in even houses that are overseas. Airbnb in certain countries is doing very well. Look into that. Okay? Because I've always been told, never put all your eggs in one basket. So, guys, that's all I have for you for tonight. Hopefully, the information that I've shared will help you make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass this amongst your friends. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.